You know, every so often, ever since I started this channel, I've had to do an angry rant or two. Yeah, it's actually what started this channel, the original one, Cover Killer, way back in 2009. Now here it is in 2012, and I still can't avoid it. I still have to do it every so often. Whether it be about albums or bands, there seems to be a universal thing that tends to be one of the larger piss-offs on my radar. One of the things that sometimes can keep me from enjoying something that everybody else does. Something that I very well could enjoy if I actually gave it the opportunity, or gave it multiple opportunities. However, I just don't and can't because of this reason. And that reason is elitism. That reason is the elitism in fandom, in this or that. Whether it be elitism towards an album, an elitism towards a band, elitism toward a genre, a subgenre, a sub-fucking genre. Something that is a universal piss-off. Take a look back at all of the different band reviews that I've done in that angry variety. How many times have I mentioned the fans? The fans, the fans, the fans. Whether it's ICP or Slipknot, it's something that is rampant. Something that happens a lot. Now, funnily enough, ICP and Slipknot's fans both emerged kind of along the same lines as my development as a metal fan. I once was kind of a metal elitist myself, so I guess maybe I just came from the elitist generation, I don't know. But as I have grown, I've of course become very genre experienced, and by genre experienced I mean in other styles of music, other genres, other subgenres. I was an Opeth elitist for a long time, and I've definitely turned that idea around. While I am still primed to defend them, considering I find their music to be so very special to me, I can definitely understand that not all people are going to see the same way as I do, and that some of their arguments actually make very, very good sense. They just don't see the same thing that I do. They just don't hear the same thing that I do. I can't help that, they can't help that, so what's the point in arguing? Elitism, however, is something that goes one step further with a lot of other people. It's to the point where they cannot handle the fact that everybody else doesn't feel exactly like they do. Now let me kind of give you a weird little example of how much of a piss-off an elitist can be. I'm going to take you back to grammar school or junior high or high school, whatever it may be for you. Just put yourself in this mode after I say this. Whatever school that you were in, where you had somebody who, no matter what was happening in their lives, was happy all the time. And I don't mean that they were rich and nothing could bring them down, everything was just peachy keen, they were a straight-A student, their family was just so fantastic, and they have the hottest girlfriend or boyfriend in the school, and just nothing could bring them down. No, I don't mean that at all. They have deaths in the family, their uncle's a fucking rapist, this is all going on, they're failing tests left and right, their left nut has cancer, and they're just like, oh, life is great. Elitism is kind of like that. Elitism is one of those things where you enjoy the band so much that you cannot recognize any sort of flaws. Your bias has become completely compromised, so as a reviewer, it's probably better off that you don't touch them. However, as a fan, you definitely want to talk about them, but it's almost better off that you don't talk about them because your opinion is going to be very, very biased. Of course, that doesn't happen. Now, one of the biggest biases and the biggest elitism troops that's out there today that's getting a lot of attention is the dubstep crowd. Now, for the dubstep crowd, I just feel the need to defame them a little bit, mainly because dubstep has been around for many, many years. It's been alive and vibrant in other countries, especially the UK, ever since the 1990s. And they actually, whenever they manifested dubstep, did it from a couple of separate subgenres of electronica music, and actually did some pretty awesome work. And it's still something that they are continuing to make some pretty awesome work with that. Dubstep fans, if you think that Skrillex and deadmau5 and all of those other people were the inventors, the founders, the first people to ever bring dubstep to the world, then you are very, very wrong. And incredibly, incredibly annoying. The nice thing about dubstep fans is that a lot of them are very, very reserved until you talk to them on the intrawebs. Oh, the intrawebs, where dubstep fans who in a music store will traditionally shut up, all of a sudden become blabbermouth fuckwits. Yeah, that's the society that we're in today. Nobody wants to have a face-to-face debate anymore. Everybody wants to type it, because that way they can formulate their thoughts over the period of an hour, which you would expect in a conversation to take place over the period of about a minute and 30 seconds. Isn't it great? But yeah, elitism is definitely something that happens a lot. Be a fan, don't be an elitist. Understand that other people are going to feel differently than you do about music, because music is something that touches us all. It's a universal truth. It's a universal constant. It's something where you're not going to be able to convince old lady Grandma Sue, who is a die-hard Christian fanatic, to love death metal. Ain't gonna happen. You can try and try and try. And Grandma Sue may even say, "This is nice, son," just to shut you the fuck up. But she doesn't actually like it. She just said that because you're her grandson and she loves you. In another respect, you may not get a hardcore death metal fan to listen to Nelly. You can try and try and try, and death metal fans just gonna be like, "Where's the growling?" Not gonna happen. Elitism is a problem that is shrinking in some locations. Slipknot fans and ICP fans, I have to make an apology to both of you. While some of you are still very ridiculous, a lot of you are not. A lot of you have definitely become, I guess, tamer as the years have progressed. Now, I understand that whenever Slipknot releases a new record, that's probably all going to change. And whenever Stone Sour releases a record next month, a record that I will be reviewing, so definitely don't touch that dial, you're probably still also going to be ridiculous. But I have not noticed very much in the way of ridiculosity over the past year or so. Is that because of my video? Fuck no. If anything, you guys should have amped it up. But you didn't. You guys are definitely a cooler group of people to talk to. ICP fans, I just don't see enough of you. I think too many of you live underground or are overseas. If you're overseas, cool. Thanks for what you do. But if you're underground, then cool. Thanks for what you do for the betterment of society. But the ICP fans that I do see, you guys are pretty cool to talk to also. In fact, I have a lot of acquaintances that do enjoy ICP. So, am I a hypocrite? No. I'm just not an elitist. I don't like the music. I think the music sucks. It's abominable. It's terrible. But they like it, so who cares? They're my friends. Elitism is not something that should keep you from being friends with somebody. Elitism is also not something that should keep you from examining other forms of music. If you become such a musical elitist where the only things that you need to listen to for your life to be complete are Amur, Bring Me the Horizon, Attack Attack, and Asking Alexandria, then wow, you are missing a whole shitload of awesome music in all sorts of different genres. And you're always going to be restricted to those 4 bands. And here, let me tell you exactly what's going to happen. Eventually, all 4 of those bands are going to either retire, or they're going to branch off into side projects, and they're not going to do stuff with that band anymore, or they're all going to get hit by, flying pieces of space debris, and all of a sudden you're going to see that 4 go to, 3, 2, 1, 0. And then what? You just stop listening to music? You could, but damn, that'd be boring. Elitism is something that needs to be kind of toned down. And this message actually goes out towards the youth a lot more than towards the older generations. Now, don't get me wrong, older generations, we are still explicitly to blame for this, because we still have classic rock elitists, thrash elitists, death metal elitists, grunge elitists. Hi. I'm still an elitist. It happens. But it's something that we do need to tone down. The youth, though, you guys are, well, fucking ridiculous. You guys latch on to something so quickly, and it just becomes a part of you, and then that trend ends, and you forget all the fuck about it. I don't understand that. I don't understand how you can be so fiercely loyal to something, and then all of a sudden it ends, and you're just like, fuck it, I don't need it anymore. I'm done with that. And then you revisit it in 5 years, and you're just like, oh, I remember this was nice, but fuck it, this new thing is much cooler. No. Whenever you formulate something, stick with it. Whenever you love something, don't stop. But be willing to admit its flaws. Be willing to understand that other people aren't going to feel the same way that you do. Whenever somebody says to you, I don't like blank, whenever you just said blank is the greatest thing ever, your first response should not be, you don't, you stupid motherfucker! I can never be your friend! Get the fuck out of my house! Get the fuck out of my general area! I know we're in a public place and this isn't my house, but get the fuck away from me! Your first response should actually be, wow, well, it really sucks that, we don't see eye to eye on that. I'd like to know why. Then listen to their reasons. If their reasons are, well, that just fucking sucks, you are a fucking loser for listening to that, then step away from them. Because they're elitists and you don't need them. But if their response is actually something musically intelligent, musically relevant, then keep talking with them. Elitism can be controlled. Elitism is something that, well, naturally sort of happens. Because whenever you naturally latch on to something, such as I have with grunge, or with Opeth, Porcupine Tree, multiple things, you can say I'm an elitist of multiple things. But I'm not an elitist to the point where I'm not going to be able to tell somebody that they're wrong. Like if somebody doesn't like Porcupine Tree, that's fine. I love them. They don't, that's cool. Respect, ladies and gentlemen. Respect is what it's all about. Peace.